What if the secret to wealth wasn't cutting corners, but choosing joy before the sale? I'm Jane, quirky, broke, and somehow still optimistic. Here's a story that won't fix your life, but might make you feel better about it. Meet Sara, a 35-year-old copywriter in Singapore who tracked every cent, but never felt richer. She had a stable income, but she also had a dwindling joy budget and growing burnout. Then she made one change. Before every purchase, she paused. To consider emotional ROI, she skipped the impulse sale, but bought a sunrise walk. Instead of another trend-led gadget, she gifted herself reusable lunch boxes that made her smile. Slowly, her money and her mood started thriving. This video dives into her 8-step journey toward emotionally intelligent spending, where each dollar becomes a vote for joy, not anxiety. Along the way, she uncovers how buying less isn't motivating. It's the right buy that fills your life and wallet. The emotional ROI mindset. Sara used to treat money like a fire alarm, only noticing it when it was screaming. But then came the burnout. The kind where your skin is crawling from Zoom fatigue, your bank app is too scary to open, and you've eaten cereal for dinner 3 nights in a row. Not because you're broke, but because you're exhausted. And it hit her. She didn't want a budget. She wanted to feel better. So instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" she asked, "What's the emotional ROI?" Would this purchase give her joy after the dopamine faded? Would she feel proud of future Sara for making this decision? Or would she be side-eyeing her bank statement in 72 hours thinking, "Well, that was dumb"? She ditched the spreadsheet guilt trips and leaned into this tiny but mighty shift. Does this align with how I want to feel long-term? Some things made the cut. A beautifully designed journal that sparked morning gratitude. A new tea blend that made her afternoon pause feel like a ritual, not a chore. A decent wireless mouse, so she didn't have to drag her wrist like a medieval peasant. Other things got the chop. Another generic athleisure set, late-night online cart filler nonsense, and anything with "flash sale" in the title. That emotional ROI filter became her North Star. It wasn't restrictive. It was liberating. What would you buy intentionally this week to feel emotionally richer, not just financially poorer? Let me know. Joy budgeting versus guilt budgeting. Once Sara figured out that her money could serve her feelings, not just her needs, she started joy budgeting. No, it's not a real finance term. It should be. Joy budgeting is about carving out space in your finances for small delights that actually matter, not the impulse spend that numbs your soul for 30 seconds. She gave herself an actual monthly joy line item, like it was in her Notion tracker, right under rent and groceries. This fund wasn't a leftover, it was non-negotiable. And guess what? That permission slip made her wildly less likely to overspend. Because now, joy wasn't a forbidden fruit. It was a snack in the lunchbox. Her friends didn't get it at first. "Why are you budgeting for bubble tea?" they asked. But Sara knew the real tea. The real danger isn't joy. It's deprivation guilt. That's the one that makes you snap by a $300 skincare haul after one tough meeting. Joy budgeting turned her daily money use into a gratitude practice. She bought fresh flowers, not because they're practical, but because they made her home feel alive. She upgraded her favorite pen. She even started saving up for a weekend writing retreat. Not because it made sense on paper, but because her heart said yes. That's what financial wellness looks like. Not constant no, but strategic, intentional yeses. The gift of green time. The moment that changed everything came on a humid Tuesday. Sara was rushing to her usual overpriced lunch cafe. You know the one, with salad bowls that cost as much as a therapy session. When she stopped mid-scroll on her phone, a nearby park, trees, quiet. Without thinking, she turned left instead of right, walked into the shade, took a deep breath. No lunch queue, no mindless credit card swipe, just space, just sunbeams cutting through leaves and the distant sound of a toddler yelling about ducks. She sat, just sat. And in that moment, a strange thing happened. Her stress didn't just fade, it evaporated. Her mind, which had been a Google Chrome window with 47 tabs open, suddenly had room to think. Really think. She pulled out a notebook, the good one bought with Joy Budget funds, and started scribbling ideas. Her to-do list melted into a what I want list. By the end of that walk, she had 3 fresh story concepts and a sense of calm she hadn't felt since 2019. She never ate at that lunch cafe again. Turns out, the free things had the highest emotional ROI. And time spent with herself, not her wallet, offered the biggest returns. Sale thermometer test. Back in her impulse buying era, Sara was a limited time offer sucker. Red tag? Add to cart. Timer counting down? Must be fate. Only 2 left. Hello, new unnecessary bathrobe. She realized sales were hacking her brain, but not in a smart investor way. More like a desperate raccoon grabbing shiny things. So she invented a tool, the sale thermometer. Here's how it works. Whenever she saw something tempting, a markdown dress, a $20 miracle serum, another quirky mug, she paused. She gave herself a 24-hour cooling off period. During that time, she asked herself 4 things. Will I remember this item next week? Will future Sara thank me or roast me? If this item was full price, would I still want it? What feeling am I chasing with this buy? If she passed all 4, buy away. If not, close tab. Sip water. Do literally anything else. The thermometer didn't just reduce her spending, it made her self-aware. Suddenly, sales weren't exciting. They were tests, and passing those tests felt more powerful than any dopamine checkout buzz. Turns out, delayed gratification isn't about punishment. It's about trusting your own inner CEO. The financial fence method. Let's talk boundaries. Not just the kind you set with toxic exes or your boss who thinks urgent means email me at 11 p.m. We're talking financial boundaries, Sara's new favorite form of self-love. She called it the financial fence. Imagine your income is a cottage in a magical meadow. Nice, right? Now imagine hordes of pushy villagers, apps, ads, subscriptions, impulse buys, and that one friend who always forgets her wallet, storming your garden. A fence doesn't make you a mean neighbor. It just means, this is mine. You can't just barge in. Sara started fencing off categories: rent, groceries, savings, joy fund. Then she put everything else outside the fence, like way out. Out of sight, out of swipe. She even set up separate bank accounts. One for bills, one for joy, and one called Not Today, Satan, for impulse temptations. It worked. Now, when a new gadget ad whispered, "Treat yourself," she laughed. "You're not even inside the fence, sweetheart." She wasn't saying no to everything. She was saying yes to what truly mattered. Because that's what fences do. They protect what you've decided is worth keeping. Micro luxuries and the power of ritual. Here's a secret no one tells you. You don't need a private jet to feel rich. Sometimes, all you need is a linen napkin and a candle that smells like ambition and sandalwood. Sara discovered the magic of micro-luxuries, small, affordable indulgences that made her feel like $1,000,000, without spending even 10. Think freshly ground coffee in the morning, music during her skincare routine, spritzing her favorite perfume before logging into a Zoom call. She turned everyday habits into rituals. Dinner wasn't eaten over the sink anymore. It was plated like she was starring in a slow-living documentary. Even budgeting became a vibe. Done in her money corner with fairy lights and a playlist called Rich Auntie Energy. Why? Because when you treat your time, space, and choices with care, your brain catches on. It stops looking for external validation. It says, "Oh, we're already living well." That's wealth. Not the stuff, but the feeling. So next time someone tries to sell you a luxury lifestyle for $499 a month, light your $6 candle, sip your budget wine, and laugh in intentional elegance. The 10-year you mirror test. Sara was stuck in the present, reacting to bills, late-night cravings, flash sale chaos. But then she read something wild. Make every financial decision as if your 10 years from now self is watching. So she did. Every time she wanted to buy something dumb, skip a savings deposit, or avoid her budget. She imagined future Sara standing behind her, watching, judging, sometimes cheering, sometimes shaking her head like a disappointed mentor. It changed everything. Future Sara was thriving. She had a comfy apartment, travel memories, a stacked emergency fund, and maybe even a dog named Basil. She didn't need Sara to be perfect, just thoughtful, intentional, present enough to build a foundation that didn't feel like quicksand. So Sara paused and asked, will this decision make life easier or harder for her? Will she thank me? Or will she spend therapy sessions unpacking my impulse buying shame? Suddenly, long-term thinking wasn't boring. It was personal. It was about loyalty, not to some vague financial goal, but to the version of herself who deserved better. Money as a self-respect practice. Let's stop pretending money is just numbers. For Sara, it became a practice of self-respect. She realized her financial chaos wasn't because she was bad with money. It was because she didn't believe she was worth managing it well. Oof, yeah, we're going there. Budgeting wasn't about restriction. It was her saying, I'm worthy of peace. Saving wasn't about lack. It was her saying, I believe in my future. Tracking her spending? That wasn't punishment. That was her saying, my choices matter. Money was no longer a source of guilt. It was a mirror, reflecting how much she valued her time, her dreams, and her boundaries. She stopped apologizing for not being a finance expert. She started celebrating every tiny win. Every time she made a mindful decision, whether that was skipping a sale, choosing to walk instead of Uber, or pausing before swiping, it was a radical act of self-trust. Because the real goal wasn't to get rich quick. It was to build a life that felt safe. And isn't that what real wealth is? So here's the truth bomb you didn't know you needed today. Wealth isn't built in windfalls. It's stitched together slowly, habit by habit. In the mundane moments no one claps for. It's choosing water over wine when your savings goal matters more than brunch. It's showing up to budget night with yourself like it's a hot date. It's the courage to say, I can't afford that right now, without shame. It's finding joy in the boring. Sara didn't become a millionaire overnight. She became free. Free from fear. Free from guilt. Free from the mindless cycle of spend, regret, repeat. That freedom, that's the real luxury. And it's available to anyone brave enough to slow down and pay attention. Now it's your turn. If this story hit home, if you're done pretending your money will magically sort itself out, hit that like button, subscribe for more emotional financial therapy, and drop a comment below. What's one small thing you'll do today to respect your future self? And don't forget to share this video with that one friend who treats their savings account like it's just extra spending money. They need this. You know who I'm talking about. See you in the next episode. And remember, slow wealth is still wealth. Build it with love, humor, and a dash of rebellion.